So we're live. So guys, welcome to this new interview series that we are doing with top millionaires. I'm the founder of the 10 Crore Club. The 10 Crore Club is a community of top million dollar founders and also people who are aspiring to get to the 10 crore mark. So we have a community called the Millionaire Advisory Board where we have a community of where we have founders who have a revenue of more than 10 crore and above, or who have raised an investment of more than $1 million. So today I'm bringing to you the founder of Moza. He's Mr. Agnes Raja. So we're going to learn about his journey from employee to entrepreneurship, so that he can take some notes and get inspired and learn from his journey. And if you need any kind of contacts in the future, you can get in touch with him and see how you can work with him to grow your business. So I'm going to bring Agnes to the main platform.
Hi, Kashyap.
Hi, Agnes. So, I mean, my audience may not know about you. So, why don't you talk about? I saw your story, WhatsApp story. You sponsored the Bangalore Fashion Week. So, why don't you start with who you are, what you do, and what was the sponsorship about?
Yeah. Just to give a small intro about myself. So I am from a small town, Kadalur. I grew up there till my college. Just after college, I started moving to metro cities. First city I was living in was Chennai. So in 2000, I moved to Chennai, looking for a stop just out of college. Retail as a business was never set by then. It's always mom and pop traditional stores. Organized retail was just starting. I got an opportunity to work with Landmark Group, Lifestyle India. First store was in Chennai. So I don't know how many of all know that Chennai was the starting point for most of India's top retail business in organized retail. So in 2000, Lifestyle had their first store. I joined as a sales staff. I become a store in charge in 2 years and become head of buying and merchandising, which held the entire purchasing for the 12 stores by then. I was there with Landmark for about 12 years, handled product development, marketing, systems, planning, process optimization. We moved with so I 15 years with 2 companies. I worked in multiple roles. And it's also my childhood dream that I should have my own business at one point of time. So I was looking for opportunities. So I was talking to my friends, colleagues to understand who were all with a similar mindset. So I met one, Zain Basha, who was my co-founder with me. So he used to handle product. So we thought we make a good partner, because any retail product and sales, 2 key areas. So I take care of sales, he takes care of sourcing. We said, okay, let us start. We've been thinking of concept for 2-3 years. Then one fine day we realized it. Okay, let us first. I decided, okay, Basha, you continue working. I'll just take your guidance. So since I've also done buying and merchandising, I know the product. I started small, so I moved up and started this company. For the pilot run, then joined after the 6 months once everything is set to launch. So we launched in February 2016 our first kiosk in Bangalore with a small kiosk for women's bottomwear. Because in my career, I've been handling menswear business, and Basha was involved, also was in menswear. We chose womenswear where we saw an opportunity, because during my last end of career, I was heading the entire planning for apparel business. I know there could be opportunity for womenswear with the data what we've been analyzing. So that's how we started womenswear bottomwear. Today we have 45 exclusive stores plus 700 shop across leading department stores across India with a manpower of 800 people, and we're growing 100% year on year last 5 years. We are touching almost 70 crore revenue this year. So we grew from 6 years. 70 crore is a decent number. Completely bootstrapped till 5 years. Last 2 years back we got an angel investment, and then during COVID, we had taken a strategic investment from one of the large family house from Tamil Nadu. So that kind of helped us to build the brand at a steady and slow pace and establish the footprint across India. Now,
How right now? What right now? How big is this? Like, is it number one, number two? Like compared to the competition, where do you find your business right now, the size
It
wise?
depends where we operate. We are at number two in terms of distribution and in organized retail. So we have our partner who just recently went IPO. So we are number two in across all departmental and EBO business. So we are looking at pivoting and not just bottoms. We are looking at becoming a homegrown Indian focused women's wear fashion brand. So that's the focus. Of course, we want to go bottom up because women's fashion works completely different than men's. So men's is fairly basic. Women need trendy clothes. They don't really worry about price much. As long as it is very attractive, they would pay whatever they want to take. Similarly, the trend is out. Even if you give free, they won't wear it. So that's a psyche of women customer, which is from my experience. So we want to create a brand, homegrown brand, because a lot of brands which are coming to India from West or US, they're struggling to cope up to the Indian taste. So since being, working in this industry for the last 20 years, we understand the seasonality, we understand the dynamics. Because though India is a country, we have 36 different states, 36 different festivals, 36 different climates, conditions. So we need to adapt. We need to deliver product which are customers' requirement is. So we've kind of got that right. So we want to scale up in that format and opening 100 stores in next 2 years to be a 300 crore business in next 2 3 years time. So that's
that
our
that's 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 where Agnes is right now. So of course, this did not happen in one day, or there was a lot of journey and a lot of struggle to come to this level. A lot of mistakes.
yeah
So let us go back in time. You said you started off with Landmark. You had like experience of 15 years working in this space, and then you
yeah
started on your own.
correct.
So now, because a lot of our viewers are in that zone of employment right now,
Yeah,
and they may be at different ages, different stages in their career,
right,
and of course they have come across multiple business opportunities, but they're reluctant,
correct.
and they're afraid. They're looking at success also. That's very attractive. They saw that, okay, that business requires a lot of investment,
Yeah.
and they're also demotivated and scared that what if that doesn't work out. So in your case, how did that happen? Like, what all did you start off with? What was your thought process, and how did you actually take that leap?
See, two things to start, to pivot from a steady state and employment to a entrepreneurship. First is you have to have a firm mindset to sacrifice something to get a larger pie of the cake. So when we pivoted, we looked at, so what is our commitments. We'll keep it very human. Cash is king in every aspect of our life. We looked at we put a business plan which is very tight. It's more like a pilot. Even the idea was, okay, let's put a small amount. Even if it is failing, we can cope up in the future. We can recover from going back to employment, or we may start another one if it is not really burning very well. That's the mindset first. We should have. So me and my co-founder both had that point, because we both coming from a very small, humble middle class family. We don't have any entrepreneurial background. We just had the fire that we should create something that tomorrow our generations can have a steady life on. So that's a basic fundamental, and we
So
both coming from
basically, you knew that in entrepreneurship, that route, the job, regular 9 to 5 job, is not going to get you enough money or
yes,
cash to create assets for your family.
exactly.
So
That's
you
a
had that decision. That was a basic decision you made.
yeah, exactly. And we also knew, since we came from a very basic lifestyle. I started as a career. He started his career as a tiler in a factory. So we know the entire supply chain, entire process of how to sell, how to create product, how to sell. What are the integrities in the business? So we built such a depth knowledge during the career. Even in our career, I'm always very anxious about learning new things. So I don't just focus on my own work. So I work on, if I work, finish my work, I go to sit with my designers, understand how do they do design, I keep looking at studying articles, reading subject on how brands are creating, what are the challenges, and that is my childhood. College that I always want to solve problems. So how do we solve larger problem by creating our own business? This is the thing which actually motivated us to start this. So first thing you need to have it very clear. You should
Question
have,
here, Agnes. I have a question here because this is very critical. I made that mistake. When you are starting up, should you focus on something nobody has done before? Like because you're talking about problem solving, there are a lot of
yeah.
problems that can be solved. Uh, what did you focus on? Is it about making money or is it about solving a problem?
So
Because
it is
they may
about,
not be the same.
see, you cannot create one without other. If you want to solve a problem, then without money you cannot solve it, right? So we need money to
Absolutely.
solve the problem, and then you need to make more money to solve larger problems. So when we looked at the business, see, when you look at the math, because for me planning is core of for starting any work in my life. That's how I've been working. Without planning, you cannot start anything. Even my day start with a plan. So the first way to did the planning, we looked at where all customer find difficulty in shopping. So we talked to our own people, our own family member, understand, okay, uh, when we started, leggings was a key category. It was catching up very well, but availability was very less, though few brands started, but the preference of quality, what the brand offered, and the quality, what they were getting in other stores was different. But the other stores where they're getting good quality, they were not getting enough colors. So that's a problem we're trying to solve. Okay, we'll give best quality product with more variety. That's a simple problem which we try to solve. Though it is not a very might not sound like a billion-dollar problem, but that kind of gives the leeway for us to learn. Okay, we are doing viscose legging while our competition is doing only cotton, and viscose has much more longer life compared to cotton in terms of longevity. Color sharpness is very good. Appearance is much more richer. That's how, because globally all the brands were doing this fabric, but India making this fabric was a challenge, and we've learned this how to do it, how to source it through our own network. So we said, okay, we have this problem, we have the solution, we have the know how to solve the problem. Let's start with this, and this business is fairly less investment, less risky, not too much risk in terms of inventory. You just need to put small capital for the store and small capital for the making the product. That's how this is. Let's start with one store and back up for 3 month inventory. Let us see how it is going. So first 2 months itself, we got some good positive response from the customers, because I've been from the store. In the first few months, I used to be spend 50% of my time in the store. While once the product is started, I was sitting in the store, understanding, talking to the customer, understanding what is the feedback, what is the requirement, trying to see what are the regular frequent feedback is coming. Then keep adding the product and then keep expanding the line. So that kind of gave us a full confidence on the product and the business. And business kept growing. And when we talked approaching people to be partner with us, they were willing to partner, and we could scale it up. So it's about how we make our planning very structured to solve a problem. So while we may have ideas, but if you don't have pen down complete detailed plan, at some point in time we might miss out on some nitty-gritties that which may lead into issues. It's not that we never had issues. Of course, business means problems. You have to learn to face it. If you have a plan, if you're falling short of the plan, you know how to mitigate it. Where there'll be some unplanned issues will come. Through experience, to talking to people, we will be able to solve all the problems. There is no problem which is non-solvable.
So you had a background from in sales,
Yeah.
and lot of entrepreneurs today. I think you must have met a lot of entrepreneurs who are brilliant at product making,
Yeah.
design. It can be a software, it can be a lot of design part, the technical part. They're excellent at that, and they're very poor at sales. So why don't you take us through a sales 101 masterclass quickly? Like, what is it sales about, and what did you learn? Because of course you're not a salesperson as baby. Of course you learned a lot of things. So how did that help, and what is sales about?
See, to be for a one two basic qualities you should have for a salesman. One is patience, and second one is you should be able to communicate well. So these two are most important aspect of being a good salesman. That's what I've
Hmm.
learned from my career. So you don't want to be too pushy, you don't want to be too hurry up, then it may lose the customer. If you don't know how to talk about your product, if you don't know how to communicate it very clearly, when it's saying communication, it could be talking, be your the way you represent your brand in your communications, which can be email, it could be any medium of communication which you want to create. So that is very, very critical for a entrepreneur to understand the sales. Sales is key. Product, sales, and finance. These three are most important aspect in building a successful business. Of course, operational excellence is across all the departments. Sales also have their own operation process, finance operation process, product also have operation process. These three is what is very critical. So, first, to be a good salesman mindset, you just need to know how to keep yourself cool, how to communicate very well, and learn from the market, how popular brands are being, communicating, how a good salesman, we all meet salesmen every day in our life, right? It could be go to a small grocery shop, just go to a supermarket. There are few shops we keep going very often because there are certain things about the shop we really like it. It could be the way the store is laid out. It's easy to shop. That's also, sales pitch for the department store or a supermarket. Could be some mom and pop store. The way he talk to us, he's very nice to us. He understands my requirement. The moment immediately goes, he'll ask, so this is what you want, regularly buy, this is your quality. So it's all about knowing your customer and creating a easy shopping experience. It's the same thing for sales. Either it is you're selling a product sale, even service sale. Service sales also is very similar. You need to know how to communicate your customer. This is what we are creating.
So, of course, we have all seen that movie, that Wolf of Wall Street. Have you seen that movie? Have you?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
So, sell me that pen. So, how would you sell the pen then? Like from your complete experience.
See, you have to be vocal about it. You have to tell very precisely what you want to communicate. You have to talk. You have to talk more. When you talk 10 points, your customer will at least grasp 2 points. If you try to be very specific to one single point, you may not be able to know whether the customer understands the point. So clarity in your communication is very, very important. Today, all the big brands build with a simple communication, but today they all say message, right? That's a sales. And second thing is we entrepreneurs should start looking at art. Because sales is an part of art. It's some the creative aspect also to it. So if you seeing some good art, learn to appreciate the communications from other business, how they are marketing, how are they creating their sales pitch, create a strong sales pitch itself is a art. So you're creating a brand profile, for any most of the business when they start, they have great idea, but when you want to present it, they will not have a basic presentation itself. That's the first point of starting a sales pitch. So you create a brand profile, what you want to offer, what problem you are trying to solve, how you are better than the products that are available in the competition. Talk about what are, because a lot of things are there in your mind. Just put it down in a piece of paper and just try to make it communicatable. It not necessarily it has to be fancy presentation. Today we have a lot of tools to available, on the shelf so that you can just put your thoughts and the tool can give you help. But still, you have to pen down the thoughts which we are trying to sell. That's a top most important aspect in getting a sales pitch.
Excellent. So, now for those people who are starting up and they don't have a product yet and they don't have also the history or the credibility, what tips would you give to them? Because they might be starting from scratch, and all of us start from scratch multiple times in our lives, of course.
Yeah.
So what like how would you prepare yourself? How do you frame your mind to start off going to the market and selling?
See, what happens is from my experience, if you have an idea of starting your own and you always have something running in your mind, I have to start. whether you have earlier work experience or you just come out of college, but I have a great idea. I think it is a problem which I'm trying to solve. When you start munching this in your mind, you keep looking at things around that particular issue only. If you look at news, you'll always, your mind automatically take you to that point. The more and more you do research, the more you go deep into understanding the problem. Then you talk to people who are in the industry, who are trying solve a similar kind of problem. Automatically you will connect. You will connect with people. You talk to your friends, you talk to your family, understand their point of view. Then when you start penning it down, okay, this is the problem, this is how I want to sort it down. It is always advisable you have a mentor or somebody who's done a business before. A lot of early startups. I work with a lot of startups because I being my startup, a lot of startups fail in a very early stage mainly because of they don't have a clear mentoring system to help their business to grow in an organized way. So have some advisory or some mentor, preferably if from your known circle, so that you don't pinch you too much. At least in the initial stage, you talk, have try to have some conversation, once in a month or once in 2 weeks, just to understand, are we going the right direction? Is there any feedback, any views they can give? That kind of firms up the thought process of starting into an entrepreneurship. So most of the entrepreneur, they'll avoid the thinking because they don't get enough confidence just by themselves. They need
True,
more
true. And
positive support from others.
true, and that's what exactly what we're doing, Agnes. Because I suffered a lot, and I because whatever you said, I didn't have guidance, and I didn't have. Of course, there are a lot of platforms but they were not really focused on helping me. The intention of the Millionaire Advisory Board
Yeah,
is to make sure that people like you who have done something substantial well, and they have, I mean, this is a journey, right? All of us are in different journey. You're going to the next level, of course, right? Like we're all at
yeah,
different paths in our journeys,
yeah,
and the whole intention is to like see how can we like shortcut the journey by bringing together quality mentoring through a
yes,
structured process. And that's what this mastermind sessions are all about. It is That's where you get to listen to multiple people and get inspired. There are people to support you when you're down.
yeah,
That's the intention of the whole process we are trying to do, Agnes.
yeah, exactly. See, just to add here, see, when we started the business, some of the people, one of our supplier who's been very helpful. He came come up with a lot of ideas. So he helped with new product innovation. Then, one of my ex business head who actually kind of guided us. Agnes, you do this area. This is the opportunity. So to get guidance, you have to be very open. You should build a very good relationship with people around us. That's very important. If you try to do it ourselves, we cannot go miles. We always need support, guidance hand. I'm fortunate to have great mentors in my career, right from my starting of my career. I'm still in touch with my first manager, who was my manager. So we are still in touch. So at every phase of life, we meet a lot of people. How build the relationship is very important for our growth. It also helps the society as well, right? So when we grow, and we also take a lot of people grow, and then we mentor, then we guide, advise people who are looking at a similar kind of challenges. So whenever there's a challenge, it's always advisable to talk to your friends, talk to your mentor, advisors, just for solution.
Absolutely. And I think what people don't maybe they don't realize. I think they realize when they get into that growth stage,
Yeah.
like later in the journey, is entrepreneurship is all about learning.
Yes. Every day is a
It is
learning.
all, isn't it?
Yeah. See, one of the biggest learning, what I would see in my career in entrepreneurship is one is people management is key in growing a business. Because when you're looking at growing from, see, bootstrap, 2 people, 3 people, you can easily manage. And then, early stage, 50, 60 people still easily manageable. When it's become 100, 200 people, how do we hire right talent? How do we nurture good talent along with us? That's one of the, very important lesson which I learned from my first career. So in my landmark group, we never had a degree as a qualification to grow. Performance and eager to learn is a growth requirement. That's how we all learn. We all grow. So we need to learn to identify right talent. We keep nurturing them so they stay with you for a long time because people is very critical. Without people, we cannot grow business.
Absolutely. And can you talk about, because this is also a mindset shift that solopreneurs need to make, right? Like a lot of people are stuck at that level,
Yeah,
that I'm everyone solopreneurs, and then they become a small team, and then they grow. There are different levels of our own growth, right?
yeah.
So why don't you take us through your own journey? Because of course it was not comfortable for you. Of course you would have faced a lot of challenges hiring the wrong people and frustrated, etc. Why don't you talk about that team building growth of journeys, and how did you change during this process?
See, we never have right people at the always right. So a person who was fit for a early stage may not be fit right for a large scale. So how we looked at is at every phase of time, life since we I had this experience of working with large corporates. We looked at how we grew. We looked at what are the process changes to be done, what are the training development required for the staff. We ensure that we give right training to the people. We invested on training, bringing in external trainers, industrial institutional trainers to come and train on soft skill, even as basic as providing communication skill. Today nowadays, what is happening is the new generation, though they are being well educated, some of the basic aspects are they're not able to cope up when they come to the large scale business expansion. So providing them training, guidance, kind of helped us to scale up the entire team. And every phase. So we should also have a plan. So now I'm looking at 3 years I'm going to do X amount of business. How many people we need? What is the kind of process re-engineering we have to have for the business? That is also very important. When your supply chain is increasing, how do we ensure there is no disturbance in the supply chain? How do we manage the infrastructure? What kind of new systems we need to implement? So everything is important, when scaling up the business. While those some costs may not be justified for today, but that cost will become very negligible, over 2-3 years period of time. Because if you try to, invest on after 5 years, but the scale and the complexity of adapting the new technology will be very difficult. I've been doing consulting, for some of my other business. There are large businesses, large family businesses, which are 50, 70-year-old legacy businesses, are struggling because of they've not invested on the right time to optimize their resources. Today, after large growth, now they are struggling very hard to change the system because the mindset is fixed. Because 30 years, one system cannot change. We need to train, develop. So,
So the business can only grow up to the level an entrepreneur can grow.
yes, correct.
If
We
there
need
is
to
a
have
fixed
systems and
mindset,
processes.
the business will not grow.
Correct. We should have systems and processes. We should hire resources, that, right talents at the right time, so that business is not dependent on you. Beyond certain point of time, as an entrepreneur, we have to look at brand visioning. How do we ensure that we take the vision ahead, create large scale investment to scale the business? Because it's a journey, right? We cannot run business with ourselves. We need to have our more capital, and entrepreneurs start looking at raising capital. If they're looking at only business which start core business operation, then they may lose out on opportunity which is much larger than what they can create themselves.
So I have a question on the hiring part, or maybe planning the hiring. Uh, did you ever like after you hired? How did you plan the departments? How did you plan? Okay, we need so many here, so many here. And was there any time when you thought, oh God, we made a mistake of having a department because that is not producing any kind of a revenue?
So we
So how
always
did you?
my organization chart is part of the business plan. So we always had you should have a HR team, finance team, operations team, and production team, product team. So that was always in place. Of course, there are certain overlapping functions when they're starting. So like finance was handling handling HR also, because it's mostly comp and ben, not so much of HR per se. Similarly, the product team is handling both the sourcing and supply chain. The business grows, the transaction volume grows when we feel that the volumes increase, we need to add more people. Then we started splitting the team under the each department. So it is base of every aspect. So the day when we started the business itself, we had a two different department. We have sales and operations. I take care. My co-founder takes care of supply chain, so that that alignment is there. Then when we start growing, we had marketing. After 2 years of operationally, we had a marketing team. Till then, directly we were handling along with the sales team. So it's all part of the plan. How we actually wanted to scale up. Today, we have a full-fledged team, which includes head of buying and merchandising. There is a sales and operation head. There is a finance head. There is a HR head. There is a supply chain head. And we also now, as of now, we don't have any IT head because IT is completely on cloud. We outsourced, so that therefore the infrastructure cost maintenance is not there. Of course, the finance team is managing the IT part as well.
Excellent. So let me go back to the the creation part. So when you started off, of course, you had a prior background in that industry, and for people who are starting up, let's say Agnes is starting up in a particular industry right now, and in let's say in the women's fashion industry, right? You're right now already number two in this industry. How big is this saturation fear that okay, there is no more scope? Do you accept? Do you agree that there are certain industries which may not be optimal for a startup? How would you make decisions right now? Because today people might be making those decisions that you made in 2016. So how would you choose a thing that okay, there is an opportunity here? Because you said you tested the small way. You had a small start like you started creating good product at a low price at a good variety. Also, of course, there was a fear that there's so many other bigger local international players. You still have that, right?
Yeah.
So how do you make such decisions? Because that is a very big decision to make, because that is a starting point for everything. Today you are a success story, but that is a story, that is a fear that you said you still have you still have the fear. But what about those guys who are still starting up and they're still figuring out where do I get started? And because after you start, it takes 2-3 years time to know that I was in the wrong place.
See, and I wouldn't say you are in a wrong place. Maybe you are doing it in a wrong way, because every problem, if you identify, we have a opportunity to create a solution. As long as we have this conviction and perseverance to strive ahead, you'll always have customers coming for you. So there is no brand, which are built large scale with this limitation. There is sky's the limit. Always there is opportunity. Always there are. We have to look at opportunity on a daily basis. So what can I do differently? What can I do to improve this service level? What can I do to improve my product? What is the opportunity which I can create for my customer? Because at the end of the day, every business is revolved around our customers, right? Customer lifestyle. How do we understand our customers better? How do we improve my services to that particular customer so that I can take more and more of their, share, wallet share or wardrobe share, whatever we call it. So the most important aspect is you could have the perseverance and the conviction that I am doing the best thing. I am willing to learn on a daily basis. We keep learning from our mistake and then trying to correct it so that we don't repeat the mistake again. If we keep doing these three basic aspects, we keep growing the business. That's how I've seen all the business being growing. I worked two large businesses from one store to now 85 stores, one of the biggest department store chain in India, and another business which is Aithabilla Fashion. So they were small shirt manufacturer. Today they are the biggest fashion house. So I've been successful businesses has been built with consistent delivery of product, finding opportunities to scale their product portfolio, and then ensuring that we learn from our mistake and keep going ahead. This three is very, very important. Is what I've seen across all the big businesses. And we cannot stick to one product. We have to keep looking at opportunities. So when we started, we were only legging brand. Today I'm talking about we want to be a number one, the fashion destination for women's wear. Again, bottom up. Today We were the first one to introduce, pants, cigarette pants. We were the first one to introduce culottes. These are some of the products which are top selling product for us. So each entrepreneur has to identify what product they started with. How do we give add-on product so that they can keep servicing the customer in a newer way? Because customers always need some new experience, right? So in every single product what we, how do we improve the service level to the customer? If it,
True. I think absolutely right, because there is always a threat. I think the advantage a startup has is agility and the adaptability and the quickness, because these big companies are already stuck. So
correct,
the classic case is a Blockbuster, in the Blockbuster versus Netflix, right? Like Blockbuster had everything going, but they were too slow to change. Netflix
yeah,
came and they took over the business. So of
correct.
course, I think that's what I agree with you. You know, a lot of opportunities exist. Even doesn't matter how big the industry is, you can still become big starting from today itself, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
So Agnes, and also a lot of now you also in your journey, what bootstrap for a certain time, and then you raise your angel round, and then
Yeah,
got your strategic investment.
correct.
So any tips, any thoughts about when did you decide to go for that investment part, and then the strategic investment discussion? How did that happen, and how did it help you in growth?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are reluctant to take up this route. They say no, I'll lose my control of my business. A lot of
I think
fears.
that's
So why don't you?
one thing we should. I want to come. See, as an entrepreneur, when you're looking at building a large, creating a product and building large business, capital is very key. Without external capital, you cannot grow the business. And we should always have this in mind. Business is separate, emotion is separate. If you're too attached, then you will become too difficult to scale, too scared to scale. Because tomorrow, if there is opportunity come, I want to invest another 100 crore to scale the business, then you might think twice. That's when the institutions and private equity helps. So we're very clear. We want to scale this business to a large scale. We wanted to go through the external funding route from the beginning itself. So when we had angel round, we have to dilute some amount. Then after that, due to COVID, we have to get into a strategic partnership. See, our vision was to make sure the business sustains and then grow to the next level. Even after 50, 60 years, even if you are not there in the business, the brand should thrive on its own. That's a major objective. As long as the entrepreneur have that vision, you should not care about getting a third party funding. Of course, there are some challenges. Of course, there will be some where we need to give up some part of equity, some part of rights. Some there will be some more questioning will happen from the investor side. That's part of the business. Even today, large businesses, Tatas and Birlas also run with public money, right? It's not their own money. So they've actually ensured that business is separate, the life is separate. That's one which is very, every startup entrepreneur should have.
True. And let us talk failures, because I mean it is easy to talk about success, that I am successful, etc. But I think people don't realize that it is not easy, right? Like the idea of this actually this interview is not to like show that it is easy. Definitely not. And there is a struggle part. I think that's what is not spoken enough of. So why don't you talk about the struggles and the failures and the mistakes that happened? Of course, mistakes are part of life. So why don't you talk about
Mistakes
that
will be
part?
part
Because
of, yeah, mistakes is, every day we learn new aspects. So, when we opened, first two stores was very good. So we looked at the same option. We opened, two more stores. Out of that, one were in a wrong location. We have to relocate it. There is a cost to it. That's a, early cost. And when we started opening stores, we also had the same issues. Then when we went to distribution, we were to, supply to some retailers who have not paid us. And every aspect of life, we learn, okay, now we have to change the policy that we should not give credit, open credit to new parties, we give only against advance or at some security check. So, and you learn from every issues. And then another major issue we faced was, it's a very high capital intensive business. So when business grows exponentially without having finance backup, then you have to face the customers that you're not able to supply. How do we mitigate and how do we engage? So we have worked very closely with our vendor when there is a time where we're not able to make produce goods. So we personally went to the factories, sat with the our suppliers, explained them this is the future we're looking at. So they listen to us. They come to support us. So when you look at today, today we are here. What we are today is because of our people, our suppliers, and our customers. So we should value every aspect. So the problems will never go. Today we may have more store, more business, but the problem still have uh, in some areas of the business. So we have to keep facing it. We have to solve it. No businesses goes in smooth pace. That's what I learned. Always there is ups and downs. Only when you have a down, you can have a steep up. So that's what
Absolutely.
has been.
So recently, I think 2 days back, we saw that news. Byju's pledged his property to raise some money to pay for salaries. So,
Yeah.
did you find yourself in any such situations where you had that working capital? Of course, there were a lot of orders, a lot of interest, but there was this cash crunch in the business, which I think it's very good to say that I have so much turnover, but lot of people don't realize from outside that it is so tough to manage when there's
Yeah.
the working capital issue. Of course, it's a big business, but that moment you need the working capital and banks may not lend you. So have you gone through any such experience?
Yeah, yeah, that is a important part of business. Cash management. When business is down. While we've learned from past and we've corrected few course of action when we anticipated certain sales, when the business sales goes down by even 10% of your plan, there's backlash happens from everywhere. Now how do we go back and talk to arrange some fund, talk to friends, or we had a situation where we had to pledge property, one property to raise extra loan for the business, and talk to the suppliers. I'll not be able to pay you in 45 days. Give us another 15 days so that we can mobilize and give it. So that's the key. But as long as the working capital pressure is in a manageable condition, so if you have your plans in place, if it is 10-20% variance, you can still manage it. Only when this goes beyond control, then it's very difficult for a lot of entrepreneurs. Then they'll start putting the business. Okay, let me shut down the business. I'll not be able to manage it. And
Any
today,
lessons you've learned, like
yeah, sorry.
you do better? Any lessons you've learned about managing working capital?
Yes,
Any?
working capital is very critical. So how do we optimize your cash is very, very important in business. So, and especially if you're in retail, where inventory is the biggest cash burner for business. So how do we ensure that you buy just right inventory? You should have systems and controls in process in place so that you don't overbuy. Similarly, just because of big, don't be over cautious so that you don't lose out on opportunity in sales. And second thing is cost. We have to be very cautious about cost. There are some must-have cost we should never cut. There are some businesses. What happens is when there is a stress, they'll go and cut the cost, which is very important for the business. It's actually in turn, impact their business. So there are few costs like branding and promotion cost, which should never be touched. Maybe your travel or some other cost. Is there any way where we can optimize the inventory or warehousing and back office? So those costs can be kind of saved so to utilize it for the business. So what cost required for the business should not be disturbed. So ensuring that cash flow which is tight, which is inventory for retail and for services, is primarily manpower cost. How do we ensure that optimally utilize the resources so that we are not over stressed on cost. We always have the plan in place that which as an entrepreneur can manage by themselves, not get too much pressure. So for that, basically, we had issues. We were too optimistic in terms of future sales, so we produced more inventory, which kind of in turn, which resulted back, that happened during the COVID time and also just after wave one, when the market picked up. So we had that's not only as the entire industry is facing. So every business has this cash problem. Learn how to control this inventory and working capital very tightly so that we don't have too much of pressure in the business.
Got it. And during all this period of stress, of course, family is very important. And how important is to have that supporting ecosystem? That how, in your case, tell us about specifically what how was it?
Yes, I'm very fortunate when we, the one of the first motivation factor is my family. When we start, when we said I want to quit my business to my wife and family, They always believed, okay, Agnes, I've seen you, coming from low level to this level. I'm sure you'll be able to do it well. So that support is very, very really helped me to focus on this business. And my wife takes care of my two sons on a daily basis. I am there hardly 2 to 3 days in a week at home. Most of the time I'm traveling. Even now, business is matured. Though I'm not involved in the day-to-day operation of the business, still we need to handle all other aspects. So having a supportive family is very, very helpful for a bootstrap business, even at a large scale, because that kind of helped me to build this business without any mental disturbance. So even if I'm giving 12, 14 hours, 15 hours in a day, there is not even a single call I get from my home for what is happening.
That's the kind of ecosystem you have around you. Excellent.
Yeah, that's what has made me what I'm today.
Excellent. So then we'll get into the last question of the day. I know it's getting late. So any books and any recommendations that you have that inspired you?
See, I I should read a lot when I was in college, and one of my early career I read this book called The 1 Minute Manager. So that kind of taught me how to manage people, how to network with the people more effectively. So that's that. Then recently, I just after my business started in 2017, I had an opportunity to read this book called The Goal by Elliot Goldratt. Most of the MBA, it started in most of the MBA schools. That kind of gives a solution for every problem and every entrepreneur should will face, from inventory to cash to people management. It's a great book. I read it twice. If you are a startup, if you are looking at solving any problem, that one book I must recommend to everybody who are looking at starting up a entrepreneurial journey. The Goal
True.
by Elliot Goldratt.
True. And also, I think one message, um, because of all this VC investments going on and lack of investments in this current climate right now, there is a wrong messaging going on that starting up is all about raising investment, because you are a bootstrapped. So why don't you talk about focusing on the fundamentals aspect, because a lot of it's really surprising that even these largest startups today are not profitable even today. Like, how important is it to like have that proper design in place?
See, fundamentally, I'm a old school man. See, fundamentally, every business is, scaled and sustained only by profit. Any business which is built for scale but without profit will not last longer. So, as a business, now while we are solving, trying to solve a problem through a product, but in the process of selling, we should not lose somebody else's money. It could be yours. See, a lot of startups, because maybe the way it was, the ecosystem has been built in the last 1.5 decade, because we want to move more people from offline to online, so they want to transition customer from one phase to another phase. Now the entire business is realized cash is king. How do we protect cash? How do we make business profitable? Even across globe now, the businesses are looking at how do we make a balanced ecosystem, which is not only online or only offline. It should have a omnipresence. Omni-channel is very key factor now. How do we utilize the strength of both the models to scale the business, even across all retail, food, FMCG. Everybody's looking at this model. So as an entrepreneur, first is we are trying to solve a problem, and how do we create wealth for everybody is part of the journey. That's most important. It's not that only the founders will take the wealth and then we will go off, other people will take care. But if we have the vision that we are here to create wealth for the community which we are building. Every business is a community by itself, right? So
Absolutely.
we are creating a new culture, new ecosystem, and we are trying to create wealth. If we are working that mindset, I think getting funding is not a challenge.
Absolutely brilliant. So, any last message, Agnes? Because brilliant. I'm one of the best interviews I've done. So, any last message for the entrepreneurs to inspire them? Last message, one message, one message.
If you decide to be an entrepreneur, make sure you keep that in mind every day, day and night. Don't lose the hope. Keep working hard. perseverance and consistency in terms of thought process and delivery will definitely bring the best result for the business.
Hmm. Absolutely brilliant. So good. So I'm going to like take you back to the
Before we
backstage. So I'm going to like end.
nice session. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much again, Agnes. Was brilliant, right, guys? So you listen to the story of Agnes, and you see how brilliant he was, right? Like how humble he is, how he built his business from scratch with all the hopes and dreams, and today he has achieved something. Of course, he's going to the next level, and you can definitely partner with him. I think he's available on LinkedIn. Let me bring him back. So how can he get in, how can they get in touch with you, Agnes?
See, I am available
So
on
you can
LinkedIn.
tell us.
Yeah.
This is your pitch time. Yeah.
I am available on LinkedIn. You can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. You just connect me and hit me high, then I will give my contact.
Yeah, and what all opportunities do you have on your side that they can get in touch with for?
See, I help the business to grow. I also mentor early stage startups. We are also in the process of scaling up existing Moza to the next level. So in various phases of business, it could be any services or investment. People are looking at invest in the startup ecosystem. Also, startups who are looking to raise fund, you need any guidance, any support, can reach out. So we have large network of investors and HNIs who are looking for opportunities. So anyone who wanted to scale their business, definitely ping me on LinkedIn. I am happy to help.
Right, and absolutely right. And any help you need, of course, we are part of the same ecosystem. So we'll be, if Agnes should be part of your board, should be part of your company. Also, let us know. We'll be happy to like arrange that system for you, because at the end of the day, mentoring is everything, right? Like we have the right mentor, your business can like double, triple, 4 times, and you'll not realize that wow, how much easy it is to grow, because once you have a powerful mentor, he can refer you multiple different contacts that you might not have done on your own. Right. So thank you so much again, Agnes. So guys, so that is what we do. We bring a lot of such entrepreneurs, and we are a HNI community of a lot of these multimillionaires who are looking to buy businesses, who are looking to invest into multiple businesses as well. So this is your opportunity to learn and grow your business. So we conduct offline meetups as well. So one meetup is coming up soon, and you want to be part of that. And if you are one of those founders who has a revenue of more than 10 crore, you can join our community, which is just the combined net worth is more than $1.5 billion. The biggest of the founders are there. So we are creating this community for the simple reason that we can all grow faster by bringing our resources, bringing our knowledge about what is working today, so that the whole ecosystem can grow faster. I mean, there's nothing called a competition here. It's all about cooperation and going forward faster. Like how can we? There is something which is working in one company, and there is something which is some other company can utilize in their business. And also, of course, we're going to like crowdsource all those best practices, and we are going to grow together. That's what this platform is all about. We're going to crowdsource information, and we're going to like help each other grow. The whole thing is everyone can be an Agnes, can be the biggest dream, right? So our time is limited. We have seen with what can happen with COVID. Anything can happen to anyone at any time. So given that fact that it becomes your responsibility, obligation to speed up your journey, and we are that speed up platform where you can get in touch with these top founders, learn from their journeys, network with these people, joint venture with these people, partner with these top founders, and take your business to the next level. That's what this platform is all about. So if you want to be part of this ecosystem, do get in touch with me, and I will see you in other interviews that I'm bringing to you every week. Thank you so much.